Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie for those who have for some reason forgotten, and this is Books R Us. So a few months ago, I did a video on the top 10 books that were the lowest rated books that I had read. Lowest rated, that was like average of the Goodreads community. If that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. So today, I decided to do the opposite of it and look at the books I'd read, look at the top 10 highest rated books that the community has rated, including my rating. So let's get started. So I do have a few that are 5 stars. However, when I looked at the books themselves, I was pretty much the only one voting on them. So there are like 6 books that only I had rated on that got the top 5. So I won't be talking about those because I do want some data that is reflective of the community. So I wanted at least, 5 or more people voting on these books to see what their rating was. So I'm actually going to be starting at an average rating of 4.67, and that is the Rose Book of Bible Charts, Maps, and Timelines. There's more to the title, but that's kind of the gist of it. I gave it a 4, and I had gotten it, 15 plus years ago now. 15 years? About 15 years ago. I gave it a 4. It gave really good charts and timelines, like it says in there, of different things that happen in the Bible. I haven't read it for a while, but I do remember that it was really useful whenever I was doing Bible study or had a question about the Bible during church. Afterwards, I could always go and reference this book. This 4.67 general rating from the community is fairly relevant to this book. The next one I have got a 4.68 rating. I don't know why this is lower on the list than the Rose Book of Bible Charts, because that one was 4.67, this one's 4.68. Maybe it has to do with how many people have rated it. I don't know their reasoning behind that. But this book is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. And this one, I think it's really indicative of the book itself for being one of my highest rated that I have read. I really enjoyed reading this. Again, I read this 2 years ago. So I need a reread of this whole series to get re-caught up. But I really liked this series as a whole, the different magic aspects of it, the whole world building. I think it was really well built. The next one has been on everyone's TBRs and videos and movies and everything, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which I see it has an average rating of 4.55. For being published only 2 years ago, almost to the day now, I think that's pretty good because it's had time to sit and be read. It hasn't had the test of time some of the other books might have, like Harry Potter, or I'm thinking like the Inkheart series, but so maybe it'll change in the next few years. I don't know, but being at 4.55, that's pretty good. If you don't know what The Hate You Give is, have you been living under a rock? It's about an African-American teen girl who sees her friend get shot in front of her for no apparent reason by a police officer, and kind of what goes on after that. I read it last year, and I absolutely loved it. I don't know why it took me a year to read it, because it was published in 2017. But anyways, I read it. It was amazing, and I really think it deserves the 4.55 rating. The next book on this list also got a 4.55 average rating from the community, and that is Worlds Collide, which is book number 6 in the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer. If you don't know who Chris Colfer is, he was a part of Glee. He played Kurt, and he's now gone into writing. And so I read this last September, and the Worlds Collide. Well, the Land of Stories series is about basically these twins who realize their grandmother is the fairy godmother and who lives in another world, basically. And each book kind of tackles them going between both worlds. The Worlds Collide, number 6, is when the fairy tale world, the fairy tale characters come to this world. And it was the first time that's happened. So, I really liked it. I'm glad I got a 4.55 average rating from the community, the Goodreads community. The next one on my list, I actually just read last month, and that is, let me grab it, by Liber Dugo. It's the second in what is now a duology. I'm not sure if Lee's going to be writing a third one or more, but it's a Six of Crows duology set in the Grishaverse. I'm glad that this got a 4.62 on this list. Again, I'm not sure why that is lower down than the 4.55s of The Hate You Give and Worlds Collide. Maybe it's just the amount of people who've put in their ratings for this. I don't know Goodreads logarithms for this. No idea. But anyways, I got a 4.62. Just read it. And I'm really, really glad that I did because it was really, really well crafted. But Crooked Kingdoms follows up the story that had started in Six of Crows and kind of the fallout of what happened in Six of Crows and how different people deal and get back up on their feet with magic and swords and more knives than swords and with gunpowder. It was really cool. Now, the next one I have is actually a picture book, and it's If Picasso Painted a Snowman by Amy Newbold. It's got a 4.58. Now, usually I don't include a lot of picture books on my Goodreads or on my YouTube channel, but I really wanted to bring this up because it was a really cute story. I got a 4.58. So it talks about, snowman and what if Picasso painted them? What if Salvador Dali painted them? What if Vincent van Gogh painted them? And it kind of shows the kids' different painting and art styles, and how they can they can see the snowmans in each one type thing, but it still talks about, artists and art. So I really liked it. I read it last month during story times. That's kind of why I'm including it here, because it was a really cute picture book. The next one on my list has a 4.58 average rating on Goodreads, and that is Man and the Music, The Creative Life and Work of Michael Jackson by Joseph Vogel. I don't really remember this one because I read it, let me see here, 6 years ago now. It's a nonfiction book, but it's just like what it says. It talks about Michael Jackson's life, the different music he did, and all of that. I believe I actually read it for a college assignment because this was spring semester, freshman or sophomore year of college. Otherwise, I wouldn't have read this, honestly, if it wasn't for class. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad that I did, learn a little more about Michael Jackson and his music because I absolutely love it. The next book I have comes at a 4.60 rating, and that is actually the Bible. I read that a few years back. it was like I did like a few chapters every day, or parts of chapters every day. I followed the plan, and I finished it within a year. And I think it's one of those books that uh, people, especially YouTubers, don't really want to like talk about because it is religious. But I think for something like this, it is interesting to see how people have rated it on Goodreads. I mean, it doesn't really matter for any of these books how they're rated on Goodreads because it's like it's rating something is very particular to the person who is actually rating it and who has read it and what kind of mood they were in at the time and all of that fun stuff. But I think it's interesting to see how the Bible has compared to some of these more popular ones, especially these young adult books that I have been mentioning. So the next one I have on this list is another book by Sarah J. Maas, and that is Queen of Shadows, which is number 4 in the Throne of Glass series, and on Goodreads it comes in at an average rating of 4.58. Again, I think I haven't read this for about 3 years now, 2.5 years. So I need to reread it to see why I personally gave it a 4. I need to see why I gave it a 4 again. I've been hearing talk on BookTube about different things, but personally, I remember liking it a lot. But again, I have to reread it to see exactly why I gave it a 4. And now with all the series out, this is one of the series that I want to finish this year, and that I can finish this year because I own all the books. But I do remember liking kind of the stronger female characters, how she deals with different things, and how she forms friendships and alliances and relationships and enemies and all of that good fun stuff that has been kind of saturating the YA field, if you will, in the past few years. And my last book right now for this little thing here is book number 10. Let me grab it real quick. And that is Empire of Storms by, you guessed it, Sarah J. Maas. It's book number 5 in the Throne of Glass series. It came out at a 4.57 general average rating on Goodreads. I gave it a 5, and I really liked it. Obviously, I gave it a 5, but it was it's out of 6. So it's like one of the last books before everything kind of comes to a head and everything kind of wraps up. And you see what happens, all that good fun stuff. Again, it's very interesting. I really like the covers. I got this one signed. I used to work at Barnes & Noble, so that's the sticker here is a signed copy. And you see the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, color fan art, and exclusive short story inside. So yeah, I got art in this copy, which is kind of why I like it. Let me show you. There we go. So those are the top 10 books that had a high average rating on Goodreads. Let me know what you think. You can find all of this information on my personal Goodreads page. Otherwise, you can just find it on Goodreads itself. I kind of want to look into more of how they get their different ratings and why some are higher than others, even though numerically they're higher. But I kind of want to look into that. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you have any ideas for what I should do, let me know in the comments below. Or if you think these numbers are off, guess what you can do? You can let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys later.